Hello, my name is Sarah Rabu, and I am the principal at the Manitoba School for the Deaf, MSD. The voice you are hearing is Charlotte Enns, education professor at the University of Manitoba. We are excited to share with you some important information about incidental learning. Incidental learning does not happen in school. It's what you learn outside of school from the things happening all around you in everyday life. Here are some examples. Typically hearing children can take in all the conversations that are going on around them in all different kinds of places. Public areas, at the dinner table, over radio and television. They take this all in and make sense of it. There's lots of stimulation everywhere that they are exposed to. Wow, imagine all the opportunities they have for learning. Although incidental learning doesn't happen at school, it is important for developing thinking, cognitive, and academic skills. The exposure that kids get is very important for developing their understanding about the real world and especially for interacting with people and making friends. Unfortunately, many deaf children don't get the opportunity to learn through incidental learning and everyday situations. And these limitations lead to a lot of problems later in life. If you're not worth talking to, you don't feel like you're worth very much. There may be lots of language and interaction going on around a deaf child, but the problem is they don't have access to it. They can't learn from it and feel completely left out. Deaf children should have the same opportunities to learn from all that exposure to other people. But when they can't access the information, there is confusion and misunderstandings. They get upset and frustrated, which can lead to increased problems in the future. It is important to explain to deaf children what's going on in different situations, so they don't miss out on what's happening around them. Just saying, "I'll tell you later," isn't helpful. Here are some examples of different ways that deaf people miss out on information. We want to discuss two specific situations where incidental learning is really important. The first one is at dinner time. A lot of discussion and many important things are talked about around the dinner table. What people have done during the day and how they're feeling. A deaf child can be completely left out and not understand the talking that's going on around them. They feel very alone and just eat their meal and leave the table without trying to interact. They don't understand what other people are doing or feeling, and they don't get the chance to understand all the important things that have been happening in the family. So they are left behind and left out. This dinner table syndrome often happens when parents don't know how to sign or only sign when they are interacting with their deaf child, not other people. That's not good enough. Parents might not know all the signs, so they just give up, or they might use a mixture of talking and signing, which is confusing. But there are some ways that you can include your deaf child during the dinner time conversation or when people are visiting. Here's some ideas. The second important situation for incidental learning that we want to talk about is discussions between parents or between parents and other siblings, either deaf or hearing. Often the deaf child is forgotten, and those conversations go on without including them. They're left out and they don't know what's going on. They don't get to see good models of problem solving or regulating emotions. They get the information from people's facial expressions and body movements and know that someone's upset or angry, but they don't know why, and that can be so confusing. They might never understand how to solve these problems or what went wrong. Here are some ways and ideas for how you can include your deaf child and make sure that those discussions happen in a way that they can understand. For example, even if you don't know how to sign something, don't drop the conversation. Put yourself in their shoes and try to think of different ways of saying it or to explain the situation. Your child really needs to know. It's worth the effort. There are many everyday situations where you can build incidental learning, like sitting in traffic. Take advantage of this time and talk to your child about what they see outside the car window. Or at the park, you can talk about and name all the different activities going on. Or in the airport, if you're waiting in line, you can explain why you need to go through security and what's happening. It's important to take advantage of these situations and provide opportunities for learning so that your child can understand what they are seeing around them, can make connections, and can open their mind to learn about the world. That's incidental learning, helping them make sense of what they're seeing and what other people are doing. The connections to others through communication and interaction is so important. So take advantage of every opportunity. Here are some examples of technology that help us get information, and these are really important for deaf people to stay connected. Like through the internet. Wow, that technology is powerful, and without it we would be lost, and there'd be so much information we'd be missing. So technology is really important and can help connect us to the world. When deaf children grow up, using technology is a wonderful way for them to be more independent, so they don't have to depend on you or others and can do things for themselves. That builds their self-esteem and confidence. Here are some important suggestions for ways that you can help fill in some of the missing information and gaps for your deaf child. Try to think of their perspective and what they're getting out of the situation and what they might be missing. If you notice them watching and not understanding, you might need to pause your conversation and fill them in and explain. Take the time to do that and don't ignore them, because these moments have an impact on future learning. Talk or sign about the things that you're thinking or doing to help them understand what's going on around them and to make those connections. Always try to remember their point of view. Language. Wow, it is so important for making a deaf child feel valued and to connect them with other people. We really want to give deaf children language so they can take advantage of all the opportunities they have to connect with others in the world. We really hope this video has helped you to understand and give you an idea of how important incidental learning is for all children, and particularly deaf children. Thank you.